What is up, everyone? I am Demon Cringe, and is Steven Universe getting worse? Now, first off, I know that a lot of people are gonna get pissed off about this video because, a lot of people are hugely into Steven Universe and they love it and all that and blah blah blah. And the thing is, I also love it. I really don't want to see it go to shit, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I kinda... the interest kind of faded away with me in a little bit, which is why I kind of agree with what people are saying here, but I really don't want to see this cartoon go to hell, and, I wanted to have, like, really good episodes down the line and have a really decent closure and all that stuff. I want to talk about some things that are going around on the Steven Universe community, about how some of the later episodes that came really aren't up to par in terms of, like, storytelling and action and all that stuff, so let's get on with it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about are the hiatuses, because I think that's kind of, like, the easiest thing to talk about. A lot of people have been saying like the hiatuses are kind of getting longer, which I really haven't noticed. I kind of think they're the same length. I haven't checked, but people are saying that it's getting more and more boring to wait for the newer episodes, which I kind of have noticed because my hype for the show has a little bit melted away, and whenever there is a hiatus, I kind of find myself being like really bored and like, come on, Rebecca, like we had enough of this waiting crap, get on with it and all that stuff. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole the episodes not being really up to par, because in order to keep people, hyped up for the show, despite the hiatuses, the episodes really have to be good, to keep people hooked and all that. And obviously, they are still pretty good, a lot of people are still, into the show, and they're more than happy to wait for the newer episodes. But yeah, it's kind of had an effect on me a little bit. Like, I remember when the show first came out, I really didn't mind the hiatuses because, I was obviously hyped for the newer episodes. I wanted to see them, but for now, I don't know, like, right now I'm not really anticipating the newer episodes. I kind of just, wait for them to come out and just watch them, and whatever happens, happens. It's kind of like other shows that do hiatuses as well, The Walking Dead has their, like, mid-season finales where they have these hiatuses and blah blah blah, but yeah, the episodes are actually good enough to keep a lot of people hooked, usually they end off with a cliffhanger or whatever, and yeah, people are more than happy to see through the wait and all that, but now let's get into the in-depth stuff, like the story and the action, and what I think is kind of missing from the newer episodes. Now, the big thing that people are basically complaining about is that the newer episodes aren't really all that plot heavy, and not every single episode has to be plot heavy, but, there has to be, like, some sense of urgency, or basically some sense of, the characters have to do something, in order to actually progress the main storyline, or like the subplots, and the subplots are one of my concerns. Like, have you noticed that there really haven't been any more monsters recently? Like, the kindergarten kid is pretty much the last monster that's, been as much of a danger, and of course this has been one of my favorite subplots of the show, the whole corrupted gem subplot, I really wanted them to elaborate more on this. Like, do you remember the centipedal episode where, she started to become a little bit more and more like normal and all that stuff, the more she interacted with the gems and Steven and all that stuff, the more she learned to be like peaceful and all that, and then we practically got, we pretty much got nothing, It's like I really wanted them to elaborate more on that whole corrupted gem plotline, I wanted them to try to explore different ideas on how to actually cure corruption and all that, maybe, maybe some other ways to fix the gems and all that, but we got nothing out of that. The same thing goes for, like, other things in the show. Like, for example, there really aren't any other threats in the show, like other huge threats, Malachite obviously has already long gone been unfused, the Jasper has been dealt with, the rubies are basically just, I don't know what they're doing. They're probably floating around in space looking for moon cheese, or I don't know. The diamonds are just absolutely pathetic right now. I really expected so much more from the diamonds, and they're just, they're doing nothing, And the same thing goes for the crystal gems, like I really haven't been interested all that much in all of their exploits and all that stuff. And in my opinion, my favorite, like recent part of the show has been the zoo arc with Holly Blue and all that stuff, but unfortunately, like, that ended so quickly. It's like, seriously, like, they're really not doing anything to introduce anything new. Like, will they ever introduce a new antagonist, or give the protagonists already some kind of goal, or like more character development? Like, I'd love to see more character development between Lapis and Peridot and all that stuff. Now, to be honest, like, this whole argument whether Steven Universe is actually declining in quality really isn't a recent discussion, like, it's been around since, like, I think I kind of noticed this decline since 2016. Do you remember July 21st of 2016 when the new Lars premiered? Like, when I first heard about this episode, I was really hyped because I wanted to see like a character development episode for Lars. Maybe he's gonna turn a new leaf, you know, like stop being a jerk, you know, and all that. Be nice to everyone. It's like, you know, the new Lars, you know, like he's becoming a, you know, like a better character and all that stuff. But it actually just devolved into a huge excuse for like, hey, Steven Universe has a new power, let's use that instead, you know. And the episode is basically like the whole description is basically Steven Universe gets a new look into Lars's life, and I kind of thought that with a description like that, it was basically be like Steven's gonna finally find out the reason as to why Lars is such a jerk. You know, maybe he was bullied in school or anything, or maybe I don't know, something else happened, but it really didn't do anything. It basically just said Lars has always been a jerk, and I'm like wondering why the hell did they even make this? You know, if they wanted to make a new episode where Steven just got a new power, why not just make it a new power instead of just, oh hey, we're gonna make a character development episode. Oh no, it's this, actually, it's this. But at least the new Lars wasn't nearly as bad as the Ronaldo episode. Now, first off, I never really liked Ronaldo's character at all. Like, he kind of reminded me of when I was 10 years old and was so ignorant I believed everything I said. It's like, I thought that this episode would be like a huge character development for him, you know, like the same thing I thought with the new Lars. They tried to shift my opinion towards that to this and have high hopes for this. And then it turned out that Ronaldo's even more of an idiot. You know, you think for someone like him, he'd be like salivating at the mouth for like actually being able to find out what gems really are. But then they just turned him into a huge fucking asshole. And this is yet another reason as to why people are complaining. These so-called filler episodes, they're saying there's too much of them, they need to hold it back and do some actual plot exposition episodes and all that, blah blah blah. In my opinion, I think these episodes centered around the human characters, like the new Lars and Ronaldo were just such total disappointments. But when I first heard about them, I was actually excited because to me these episodes focused around the human characters should also be character building episodes instead of just, you know, branded as filler. It's like, oh my god, it's centered around the humans, it automatically makes it filler. No, it's not filler, just because, you know, they're not super powerful gems and all that stuff. They kind of seem boring, but they're still characters, so you need to build them up in order to make the fans like them. And they just failed at it. Failed miserably, you know, seriously. Like, I'm not gonna hold back. They absolutely failed miserably with episodes like the new Lars and the Ronaldo. It's like, at this point, I really don't want to see another episode centered around the human characters unless it's either Connie or Greg, you know, like, or Greg's relationship with Rose and all that stuff. No other human characters, please. No more. I'm just sick of it, you know. Just do some goddamn plot episodes, like, make them have an all-out fucking war with Homeworld, you know, let them actually try to discover a way to cure corrupted gems and all that and blah blah blah. And isn't it just hilarious, everyone? Like, have you noticed how quickly I shifted my tone there? It's like I was so excited, you know, so excited for these episodes like the new Lars and Ronaldo. The Crewniverse has single-handedly killed my hype for the human-centered episodes, you know, unless they're like Connie or Greg. I still like those characters. I still have hopes that Lars will actually get a character development episode instead of just a cheap excuse for Steven to use a new power and all that. I really don't give a crap about Ronaldo anymore. Like, he can just like retreat to some cave and become like the Steven Alex Jones or whatever. I just want, you know, like they did with the zoo, you know. I want some action, you know. I want some, you know, really plot heavy stuff. I want some closure, you know. I want to see them try to cure corrupted gems and all that stuff and actually even partially succeed. And yes, everyone, I know that I'm rambling right now, but the people are basically saying that the Crewniverse is kind of running out of ideas, you know? It's like, the show really does have a lot of potential, and it can keep itself going for quite a while. There's still a lot of crucial story elements that need to be covered and, you know, loose ends to be tied up. But right now, it's just, you know, cheap cliche plot twists, and that time when Rebecca actually put 52 episodes in one season and just stretching it out as much as she can, you know, like... maybe that's why there's so many hiatuses, because Rebecca tries to shovel in so many episodes in one season. Is just insane, you know. But all in all, I gotta say that in closing, I still like Steven Universe, okay? I still want to watch this cartoon to the end, and I really want the future episodes to, you know, be better than the ones that we have right now. Like, I want them to make actual plot-heavy stuff, you know, like, want them to make actual character development instead of just having it a cheap cop-out. You know, like, progress the subplots, maybe put in a new villain or villains, and for God's sakes, make the diamonds useful. Make them actually do something, okay? They're doing nothing right now. Same thing goes for the gems. try to do something. You know, try to maybe re-engineer the moon base and use it as like a monitoring station against the homeworld in case their ships actually try to invade Earth and all that. Anyway, everyone, that's been my little rant, a little bit of a discussion. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and press the little bell icon. And as always, I'm David Cringe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.